My name is Emily D'Souza. I'm a fisheries scientist, content creator, and the co-founder of InnaSea Media.
My name is Bree Dwyer, and I'm a creative director with a background in wild fisheries, and I'm the co-founder of InnaSea Media.
If seafood wants to reach a different audience, then we need to market seafood differently. And that's exactly what we're doing.
Who is your product for, and how do you reach them, and where?
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different audiences for seafood, but if you don't know what your target is, it's going to be really hard to talk to those people.
Seafood is for everybody, but your specific product has a specific consumer. That's what people need to remember is, yes, seafood is a diverse category. Seafood is definitely for everybody, but each seafood product, each species, each production method, it has a different, it has a different place. It has a different destination.
A white tablecloth seafood eater is going to be very different than a mom feeding her kids at home. But there's products for both of those people in this space. And so I think it's really like getting clear on your target audience. And that is something that we know how to do. This is something that in the social media space, in the storytelling space, like everything that we do, we have to know who it is that we're talking to, who we're targeting, in order to craft a narrative and a story that is going to resonate with that person and ultimately drive them to click purchase or go to the store and purchase. Like, you have to talk to them as if you know who they are. And I think that that step is often skipped in the marketing of seafood. And I think that, again, like marketing 101, we got to go back a little bit and we got to go and take a look at these things to really truly understand like who we are selling seafood to.
And the consumers that we're trying to reach have different questions. The mom who is shopping for her kids in the grocery store has different questions or pain points than, the single foodie living in Manhattan who wants the craziest seafood experience money can buy. Like, those are two different people living two different lives. And seafood is for both of them, which again, I think is a big strength. And I think it's really tapping into who is your product for? What are their pain points? Like, what are their concerns? Is it that they're too, like, are they insanely busy trying to put food on the table for a couple of kids? And how do we make that easy for them? Is it a matter of like, we have, value added, pre-seasoned, pre-portioned in the grocery store, ready to go, throw in the oven? Like, that is perfect for that target audience. Whereas if you're looking at, a young couple who is an adventurous foodie type, maybe you're doing more of this, like leaning into the at-home foodie, like dinner kits, where people are like, young millennials, the D.I.N.K households, they're loving these days. The D.I.N.Ks are loving the at-home culinary experience, where they can feel like they're Gordon Ramsay or they're Anthony Bourdain in their own house and getting to like experiment and test the boundaries of their kitchen with seafood. And so there's a place for all of this. But I think, if you try to sell that at-home culinary adventurous experience to the mom with kids, she's going to be like, hell no, I do not have time for this. I don't have an interest in this. The kids are screaming. They're hungry. Like, I don't want to deal with this.
Fish sticks.
Exactly. Fish sticks. Like, there's a place for all of this.
While we're talking about this, when we talk about like truly like one of the main like target audiences for seafood that I don't think that we are hitting enough, hi, it's me. Like,
Yeah.
It really is. It's me, because I am a very basic seafood eater. Like, I have gotten more adventurous since I've started hanging out with this girl. So thank you. Also, sometimes I just don't want to put the seafood in my mouth.
It's so good though. The crunchy fried heads.
No, I don't want to bite off fish heads. Like, I'm leaving that for you. But I am like, salmon, halibut, the basics, shrimp, scallops, like even, and crab, like the basic seafood that a lot of people know and love. That is my seafood palette. And so I truly am, and value added products, like for me and my family, like those are super helpful because I am a busy mom. And so those products for me are top of mind. So gooey duck, while I actually very much enjoyed it, is not my go-to in the grocery store. I'm not about to go buy a gooey duck and then prepare it at home. I really am not. But like, you are a little bit different. Like, you have a little bit more expanded seafood palette. You travel a lot more than I do, going to these places, trying new seafood. And so thank you for opening up my seafood experience. But also, like, let's think about, like, we are examples of two different seafood target audiences.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think it just goes back to, knowing who you're trying to target. Because I think if you and I went grocery shopping together, we would probably go about it completely different ways.
Because you're a dink.
Exactly. I'm a dink. I got time. I have time. No one.
Dual income, no kids, by the way, for the
clarify.
people who don't know what a dink is. I'm not insulting her.
I am a dink. No one is, no one's yelling at me when I'm trying to make dinner. I don't have screaming kids running around or pets. I can leisurely take 3 hours to make dinner and to shuck oysters at home if I want to. And I think understanding those two different experiences is really important for seafood companies who are trying to sell their product. Are you marketing your seafood product to Bree? Are you marketing your seafood product to Emily? What are they interested in, and what do they want to do? Do they want to spend a ton of time cooking and preparing something intricate, or do they just want, like you said, quick, value added? And also, sometimes you do want both, because sometimes I'm just not in the mood. And I'm I want my fish sticks to throw in the oven and call it a day.
And I'm more likely to go to a restaurant to get that kind of experience that you're making at home. So I'm going to come to Emily's restaurant and have that.
I said it once already, is seafood is incredibly diverse. And I think what we need to remember too is there is room at the table for everybody. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing for seafood. It's a good thing for consumers. Consumers have diversity of choice. And there's a place for direct-to-consumer seafood. There's a place for white tablecloth restaurant seafood. There's a place for grocery store seafood. And I think what all these things share in common is making them approachable to the target consumer that they're trying to reach. Like you're saying, at the grocery store is where the average American is buying seafood. And so you're going to find seafood products in the grocery store that apply to that specific consumer. If you're going to La Bernadette in New York City, you are getting seafood that is not for the new seafood eater necessarily. It is, something that's a little bit more adventurous. It's for that more curious foodie who's looking for a more upscale experience. And I think that is actually one of seafood's strengths, that we can have seafood, we can have this product that can reach a diversity of audiences, because we have such diversity in the product category that we can see it in grocery stores, we can see it in at-home sushi kits, and we can see it in Michelin star restaurants. I think that's a big strength that we have almost leaned into more of as a weakness rather than leveraging as a strength.
Well, and across so many species too. Beef, chicken, and pork, it's just a matter of a different cut. But when you start talking about seafood, this is also the other piece that I think is really important to lean into, is there's so much of a story. And that story is still not being told. And so when you talk about the ability to be diversified in product placement, you're also you can diversify the story that you're telling too. We have so much of an opportunity to do that, and we're just not capitalizing on it right now. I think that's a really good example of how we can flip the script in marketing and start talking about it from a positive place rather than a negative place.